Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Kameel Majdali.
Some more today on those sure foundations that we need to have in place as Christian followers of Jesus Christ. We've been talking in recent programs, Kameel, about a great shaking. Let's talk about that shaking. There's a history of shaking that we need to be aware of.
All right. I'm a history major by background before I ever studied theology and the rest. I love history, and I believe that knowing and understanding history can position you for the future. Take a look at the 20th century and some of the major events. Now, if we are in prophetically significant times, as I believe we are, part of that prophecy is Haggai 2 and Hebrews 12, the promised great shaking. Look at the 20th century. Let's start with 1912, 15th of April. That's the date the Titanic sunk. World's biggest ship, technological wonder, work of art, ship of dreams, called unsinkable. The unsinkable ship sank on its maiden voyage. This wasn't just a tragedy for the friends and relatives. It actually shook the world. If the unsinkable ship can't even make it through one voyage, we are far more vulnerable than we realize. We are not the masters of our destiny. And perhaps this is an omen of greater shaking to come. I believe it was. 2 years later was the outbreak of the Great War. We never had world wars till 1914. And world wars, you do everything in your power to avoid, Neil, because they kill millions of people and they change the face of the earth, oftentimes for the worse. At the end of the Great War, with, I don't even know, 15, 20 million dead, we had a whole new world, and empires that had been around for centuries were wiped off the map. That is a shaking, including the Russian Empire, Ottoman Empire, Austro-Hungarian Empire, German Reich, all gone. Guess what happens right after that? No sooner had the ink dried on the Armistice Agreement on the 11th of the 11th, 1918, then there was an outbreak called the Spanish flu pandemic. And more people died in the Spanish flu pandemic than even died in the Great War, which is apocalyptic, Neil, when more people are dying in peacetime than in a world war. Following that was the Great Depression. Following that was the Second World War with an even greater death toll, 55 million people. After that was the Cold War. And then, thank God, the Cold War ended. But now we're in this new age of the 20th century.
Kameel, when we reflect on the Titanic, lots of us might feel a little bit like the Titanic insofar as, while the reputation of the Titanic was that this was an unsinkable ship, we might feel as though we've got a good job, we've got a wonderful family, there's food on the table, a roof over our head. There is a sense in which we could feel as though things are going well for us under our own steam. What's the contrast to the individual life if you talk about the Titanic?
I bring up the Titanic because it reminds me of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 37. Jesus, speaking about the last days prior to his coming, he says, "But as the days of Noah were, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be." And he goes on to describe that everyone is doing their normal routine with great, even feral intensity, and then all of a sudden, boom, the door of the ark closes, the rains come down, the floods rise, and carries them all away. Just think of it. The Titanic was like, well, now you see it, and in less than 3 hours after hitting the iceberg, now you don't. Gone. Let's not put our hope in the things of this world, because like the days of Noah and Titanic, they could be gone tomorrow. Let's put our hope in the things of God, which will never, ever perish.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Kameel Majdali from Teach All Nations. Find articles, videos and podcasts from Dr. Kameel, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future in the Vision app or at vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.